Once hailed as the cheeky yet beloved royal with a heart of gold, Prince Harry has undergone one of the most dramatic public image transformations in recent memory. No longer seen as the daring military man or the charming people's prince, Harry has increasingly become the butt of late-night jokes, with none other than comedian Jimmy Kimmel recently delivering a stinging roast that captured the sentiment of many: "He's just a Hollywood sidekick now." For a man born into one of the most revered institutions on the planet, Harry's journey from Buckingham Palace to Beverly Hills has been nothing short of bewildering. What started as a high-minded escape from royal pressures has slowly evolved into a saga of self-inflicted ridicule. Once admired for his service, philanthropy, and down-to-earth nature, Harry has steadily chipped away at his own reputation, choosing media exposure over dignity and grievance over gratitude. Jimmy Kimmel's mocking jab, while humorous on the surface, speaks to a deeper truth that has taken hold in public discourse: Prince Harry is no longer seen as a powerful figure in his own right. Instead, he's perceived as the sidekick in the Meghan Markle show, a supporting character in a carefully crafted narrative built for headlines, streaming platforms, and social media clout. Since stepping back from royal duties in 2020, Harry has seemed increasingly out of his depth. Despite claiming to want a quieter life, he has done everything but disappear from the spotlight. Whether it's the tell-all interviews, the explosive Netflix series, the tell-some memoir Spare, or his frequent podcasts about trauma and healing, Harry's presence in the media has become relentless. But rather than earning sympathy, his public oversharing has drawn skepticism and even mockery. The release of Spare was perhaps the most striking example of how far Harry has strayed from his roots. In the book, he details deeply personal, and often bizarre, moments, from drug use and frost-bitten body parts to physical fights with his brother and confessions about losing his virginity behind a pub. Instead of humanizing him, these revelations painted a picture of a man still wrestling with insecurity, bitterness, and a desperate need for validation. Critics argue that Harry has traded one form of restriction for another. In leaving the monarchy behind, he and Meghan claimed they wanted freedom, but many believe they've merely shackled themselves to a new master: public opinion and personal branding. And while Meghan appears composed, camera-ready, and ever-calculating, Harry often comes across as awkward, aggrieved, and, at times, lost. Public opinion reflects this shift. Once among the most popular members of the royal family, Harry now finds himself sliding down approval polls both in the UK and abroad. Many blame his repeated public attacks on his family, his inconsistency, and the apparent contradiction between his calls for privacy and his non-stop media appearances. When the world saw him mourning Queen Elizabeth II, sympathy briefly returned. But any goodwill was quickly overshadowed by more interviews, more grievances, and more content. Jimmy Kimmel's quip isn't just about comedy, it's a cultural reflection. When a man born into history's most famous family becomes fodder for punchlines, it signals a real fall from grace. And while many celebrities face similar jabs, Harry's case is unique. He wasn't just any public figure, he was a prince, one of the few people on earth with a real claim to nobility, purpose, and legacy. Watching him now play second fiddle in Hollywood has left many wondering, what happened? There's a growing perception that Harry is being directed, not leading. While Meghan is seen as ambitious and media-savvy, critics see Harry as pliable, someone who was eager to rebel against royal constraints but never quite figured out what to do after the rebellion. From public complaints about being cut off financially, despite a multi-million-dollar inheritance, to confusing declarations about royal racism without naming names, Harry's narratives often lack clarity, purpose, or even coherence. Perhaps the most tragic element of Harry's fall is how avoidable it all seemed. He could have forged a new identity outside the royal family without turning his back on them. He could have used his platform to advocate for mental health and veterans' issues without throwing his family under the bus. Instead, he chose spectacle over service, exposure over substance. And now, as he sits in Montecito, attending movie premieres and hobnobbing with celebrities, it's difficult not to feel that he's become exactly what he once mocked: just another fame-chasing figure in the Hollywood machine. The same man who once donned military fatigues and led charitable efforts in Africa now finds himself trailing behind Meghan at glitzy events, applauding from the sidelines. Even his recent attempts at solo projects have struggled to gain traction. Without the royal institution behind him, Harry's appeal seems diminished. His speeches, once commanding because of the crown behind them, now feel more like TED Talks with a touch of royal nostalgia. And his identity, once grounded in service and duty, now feels adrift in a sea of superficiality and social posturing. It's no wonder late-night hosts like Jimmy Kimmel feel emboldened to take aim. The joke isn't just about Harry's current lifestyle, it's about the perceived betrayal of potential. The prince who had it all gave it up for a brand. The man who could have been a global statesman is now a supporting actor in a real-life soap opera.